Hi everyone, this is Arcadius and welcome back to Naval Creed. Today we'll be going over the next Russian battleship, that is the matchmaking tier 9 World War II battleship, and that is Project 23, and I've renamed her Vladivostok. Now, you might be saying this ship is already in the game, and you would be somewhat correct. That ship being Soviet Union or Svetsky Soyuz or Slava, however you want to say it. This is the more advanced version of Vladivostok, and it's kind of a copy paste, but Soviet Union does have quite a few attributes that make her better than the normal Russian battleship. But Vladivostok is not bad at all. She, again, is a very, very nice sniper. So let's see what kind of stats we have. Fully upgraded, she has 88,200 health, a 31% torpedo damage resistance. Let's see what our armor is like. We have 370 millimeters of belt armor, which isn't that much actually. That's about what? Maybe it's almost 15 inches, not quite. But yeah, if you give broadside, you will still be citadeled. So just keep that in mind. Guns, we have 16-inch. Three triple 16-inch guns, 2 in the front, 1 in the back. We have pretty slow fire rate, but the damages are really good, and so is the shell velocity. We have main gun range of 23.6 kilometers, which is pretty decent. And then 5 kilometer secondaries. We have a few twin 6-inch on each side. They're not really going to do much at all. AA wise, let's take a look. I like the numbers, but the ranges could use a little bit more. I might put a couple crew skills into extending my AA range there. And then let's see here, how fast. We're at 28 knots, so we're not the slowest, but we're not the fastest either at this tier. And then we also come with 3 planes, and those are fighters. The LA-7 in the back here, again, just like on Lenin. All in all, this ship is pretty decent. It is kind of a copy-paste of Soviet Union, though. So if you already have Soyuz, then you already know how to play this one. But if you do not have Soviet Union, then this is a good indicator on if you would like it or not. You can definitely play Vladivostok and be like, okay, I really like this kind of gameplay, or I like this way the ship plays. And you can get Soviet Union, and it's just that much better. With it, let's toss you into a game and see what we can do. Alright, here results the game. 1 carrier, 3 battleships, 2 cruisers, and 2 destroyers. So pretty evenly matched game. And this is actually a pretty decent map for this ship as well. So let's see, Vladivostok, an Iowa, and a Bismarck. Not terrible. The lanes are going to be relatively easy, as they cannot bow tank 16-inch shells, so you can go right through their nose. The destroyers might have or give us a little trouble, but at the shell velocities we have, we should be able to hit them pretty easily as well. Okay, so we're going to start off by going to the left like normal. Might as well put a fighter in the air, because why not? Now we just have to wait to see what our targets are. Now, compared to the other matchmaking tier 9 battleship, that is Rostislav, it is quite different. So it's hard to compare the Dreadnought World War I-ish battleship line of the Russian Navy and the World War II-ish version, because both ships have different play styles. Vladivostok, for example, goes for the sniping kind of gameplay, which I have pretty much full accuracy built. However, Rostislav doesn't exactly have the shell velocity to be a sniper. She's more of a spammer. Now, whether she's an armor piercing or an HE spammer or both is up to the player, but you have to get closer than normal in order to do that. Which is ironic considering you don't really have the armor to do that, and Vladivostok does. But it's just the way that the game is. Both have their advantages and disadvantages, and you just have to play around those. So for example, I have pretty good accuracy on Vladivostok. I would never be able to see that kind of accuracy from Rostislav, but I would not be able to see the damage numbers that Rostislav would be able to dish out when compared to Vladivostok. Alright, so I know Lean can't tank my shells very well. The only reason she was able to ricochet those first salvos because they hit on the stern there. And yep, straight through the deck, pretty much. And you just kind of sit back and start sniping. Well, sniping, and if you get close, you have pretty close to 100% accuracy as well. I don't think 10 kilometers away is pretty much sniping, but you can definitely use your advantage to land every single shell you have. Though 5 of them were still ricochets, that was pretty surprising. I think I'm hitting just enough on the side to get the belt armor to ricochet. But it looks like the Taiho is working into Lean as well. I don't think she's going to survive that. Well, she might. So let's finish her off ourselves. She's still ricocheting quite a few shots. Alright, we're going to stop here for a moment, because we're going to have the broadsides of quite a few different ships here in a moment. And let's actually see, can we finish off this carrier really quick? This isn't necessarily a hard task to do with Svetsky Soyuz, so let's see if we can do it with Vladivostok as well. Pretty decent accuracy, good enough lead, and oh, pretty close, 36,000 damage. And the other Vladivostok is coming out, so we can test her armor in a minute, though it's going to be fully broadside, so there's not much going to be able to test there except how many citadels it takes to sink her. But I think we should be able to finish off Taiho here in a minute. Oh, close, 6 overpens. We didn't give enough lead that time. Now, one major difference between this ship and Svetsky Soyuz is her aircraft. Now, it's not a big difference, but Soyuz is able to equip dive bombers, which can sometimes be more useful than fighters. Alright, so let's check out the armor. Alright, so no citadels to start with, but still 22,000 damage. And it looks like we have the 3 battleships and the 1 carrier left at this time, so we were not able to really go up against any destroyers. Just fine with me, honestly. But going back to the aircraft, the fighters are good with spotting around you and just attempting to intercept enemy aircraft. But I feel like the dive bombers are more strategic, as you can send them to go towards a target, such as a destroyer that might be 27 kilometers away. There's no way you're going to be able to shoot it, but those aircraft are going to follow that destroyer even if it goes undetected, and drop it, so you might still be able to set some damage and some fires on it. But it also shows you where the destroyer is. It keeps a constant detection on it, or at least general area. So it's going to find the destroyer whether or not anyone can see it. And so that is definitely an advantage, and that's something that I use quite often. And I did use that a lot with my Japanese cruisers, but one of the most past updates removed the dive bombers from the majority of them. So I think only Agano has dive bombers in the Japanese line. I think so. Ibuki used to have them. It lost them. Maybe Tone still has it. I don't know, because Tone was a big dive bomber ship as well. Regardless, using dive bombers in that way with non-carrier ships is definitely an advantage you have over the enemy at any point in time. And even if you select them to shoot targets that are pretty weak with AA defense, you can even set a couple fires. Alright, so let's see if we can finish off this carrier as we wrap up this game here. There we go, we were able to finish her off. And yeah, you're not really supposed to tank that much. I'm assuming you can tank considering your armor. If you push in with a bow tank, I think you would do a pretty decent job at it. However, I think a sniper role is better suited for this kind of ship. in my opinion, and that's how I will play her. But that doesn't mean that's the only way to play her. But I don't think Brawler is a pretty good idea either. Pretty much if you know how to play Iowa, you should use that kind of knowledge and apply that to Vladivostok as well. You're a really strong ship with good armament and somewhat decent AA, I would think. I don't really know how she compares to the other ships. But as soon as you give broadside to something that has really big guns, you're going to regret it. And with that, we have ourselves a game. So let's see how we did. 191,000 damage, 2 ships sunk, 81 shell hits, 5 aircraft shot down, 3 citadels, 6 secondary hits for 4,000 base XP. And we did all except 585 damage in armor-piercing shells. And that one little bit of damage was from our secondaries. So, final verdict on the ship, really, really good. If I was not familiar with, nor had a lot of games in Svetsky Soyuz, I think I would like this ship a lot more. But it's just a slightly worse version than Soyuz, so I don't really have a reason to play this ship. But that doesn't mean she's bad at all. If I did not have Svetsky Soyuz, this would be a very, very fun ship. And if you like this ship, then you're going to like the ship that comes afterwards very, very much. That will be the Project 24, which we will go over tomorrow. So that will finish up today's video. If you like the video, make sure you like and subscribe, and join me tomorrow while we go over the final Russian battleship, that is Project 24, or as I renamed her, Kremlin. So again, thank you and take care.